The investigation into Theo Silverton's murder has always suffered from one major problem: too many suspects and too many motives. Since Theo's death was revealed during Coronation Street's flash-forward storyline in April, detectives have been navigating a maze of conflicting evidence, missing information, and damaged relationships. Almost everyone connected to Theo appeared to have a reason to resent him, making the search for his killer unusually difficult. For weeks, one person has remained at the center of the case. Summer Spellman has been sitting behind bars, charged with Theo's murder and awaiting trial. The evidence against her appeared strong enough to move the investigation forward, but there has always been an underlying question hanging over the storyline. Was the police case truly complete, or were investigators still missing a critical piece of the puzzle? Now, a new discovery suggests that the answer may be far more complicated than anyone first believed. The breakthrough comes from an object that investigators have been searching for since the early stages of the case: Todd Grimshaw's missing phone. From the beginning, detectives believed the device could contain information capable of reshaping the investigation. Missing phones often create significant challenges in criminal inquiries because they represent gaps in communication records, timelines, and potential evidence. In Theo's case, the disappearance of Todd's phone became one of those unanswered questions that never fully went away. This week, that question finally received an answer. Police managed to track down the device and discovered that it had been pawned just days after Theo's murder. On its own, that detail is already significant. The timing immediately raises questions about who possessed the phone after the killing and why someone would choose to dispose of it so quickly. Yet, that the most important revelation came not from the recovery itself, but from what happened next. Forensic analysis uncovered fingerprints on the device, and the identity of the person connected to those prints left DS Lisa Connor-Swain visibly shocked. The program has not yet revealed whose fingerprints were found, but the reaction alone suggests that the discovery has the potential to alter the direction of the entire investigation. And that is where the storyline begins to shift. Until now, much of the narrative surrounding Theo's murder has focused on establishing guilt. The investigation was largely moving toward proving Summer's involvement. However, the emergence of unexpected forensic evidence changes the nature of the case. Instead of asking whether detectives have enough evidence against Summer, the question becomes whether they may have been looking at the wrong suspect altogether. In criminal investigations, physical evidence often carries a different weight than witness statements, assumptions, or personal suspicions. A fingerprint recovered from a key item can introduce a completely new line of inquiry, especially if it connects investigators to someone who was not previously considered central to the crime. That possibility now hangs over every development in Weatherfield. At the same time, another storyline begins to intersect with the murder investigation. Brody Michaelis finds himself under police scrutiny after being arrested on suspicion of theft. While the arrest itself is separate from Theo's murder, the timing is difficult to ignore. As Lisa prepares to question Brody, the investigation suddenly gains another potential source of information. Whether Brody possesses relevant knowledge remains unclear, but his arrival at this stage of the story adds another layer of uncertainty. And uncertainty is becoming the defining characteristic of the case. Meanwhile, Kit Green continues to follow a path that increasingly places him at odds with official procedure. Despite being warned to stay away from the matter, Kit decides to pursue answers independently. His attention remains firmly fixed on Gary Windass, a figure he has distrusted since the earliest days of the investigation. Kit's suspicions are not based on the newly recovered phone alone. Rather, they appear to reflect a broader belief that Gary knows more than he is willing to admit. When Kit questions Gary about Todd's missing phone, Gary denies any involvement and claims ignorance. Yet, the exchange does little to ease Kit's concerns. Instead, it reinforces a growing divide between what can be proven and what individual investigators believe to be true. This distinction is becoming increasingly important. Throughout the storyline, Coronation Street has repeatedly highlighted the difference between suspicion and evidence. Characters may have instincts, theories, and personal convictions, But those beliefs do not automatically translate into proof. The recovered phone introduces something much more concrete into the equation. For the first time in weeks, investigators possess fresh forensic evidence capable of either confirming existing theories or dismantling them completely. That development creates a fascinating tension within the narrative. On one side stands Kit, following his instincts and focusing on Gary. On the other stands Lisa, who must follow the evidence wherever it leads. The newly discovered fingerprints place those two approaches on a potential collision course. If the forensic results point toward someone unexpected, long-standing assumptions could quickly begin to unravel. And that possibility brings the storyline back to its most urgent question. Can Summer Spellman be freed? At present, she remains charged with Theo's murder and awaits trial. Yet, every new revelation surrounding Todd's phone appears to weaken the certainty that once surrounded the case against her. The fact that investigators are still uncovering major evidence at this stage suggests that crucial aspects of the murder remain unresolved. The discovery of the phone, the shocking fingerprint results, Kit's continuing focus on Gary, and Brody's arrival in the investigation all point toward a case that is far from finished. Rather than moving toward a straightforward conclusion, the story appears to be opening new avenues of suspicion at the very moment viewers expected answers. And if the evidence recovered from Todd's phone truly changes everything, the biggest twist in Theo Silverton's murder investigation may still be waiting to emerge.